On the physical level, there are many different theories about the origin of the universe. Similarly, on the spiritual level, there is also much debate about the emergence of consciousness or cognition, while there is already a wealth of popular science content on the origin of the universe. Today, I would like to share with you how cognition is formed. Consciousness and cognition are the foundation of our ability to learn language, movements, and various academic disciplines. How did they arise? Was they truly created by God? Currently, there are several theories about the world we understand. The first is the physicalist view, which is also accepted by most scientists. It holds that consciousness is a product of physical processes in the brain. According to neurophysiological explanations, the brain is composed of approximately 86 billion neurons, which interact through electrical and chemical signals. When neuronal activity forms specific, global patterns, particularly involving the cerebral cortex, thalamus, and prefrontal cortex networks, our subjective experiences of sensation arise. However, this view also has obvious problems. While these theories explain how consciousness is realized, they fail to fully explain why subjective experiences arise, such as the first-person experience of what it feels like to see red. The second is panpsychism, the core idea of which is that consciousness is a fundamental property of the universe. All matter, even electrons and atoms, possesses some kind of weak consciousness. The brain does not create consciousness, but rather aggregates these tiny bits of consciousness into a complex, integrated experience. While this view can explain why subjective experience seems irreducible, it is difficult to verify and cannot clearly explain how these mini-consciousnesses combine to form self-awareness. The third is dualism and interactionism, proposed by Descartes. This theory states that consciousness and matter are two distinct realities. Consciousness is a mental entity that cannot be fully reduced to a material entity, and the brain is merely an interface between the mind and the material world. Property dualism argues that consciousness is a non-physical property of matter. Interactionism argues that there is a causal relationship between the mind and the brain. The problem with this view is that it violates the law of conservation of energy and the logical closure of physics, making it incompatible with modern science. The fourth is the computational and information perspective. This perspective posits that consciousness is a mode of information processing. If a system, biological or artificial, can integrate, represent, and reflect on information in a specific way, it may possess consciousness. This perspective is also closely related to artificial intelligence research. Some scientists, such as Giulio Tononi and Christoph Koch, believe that if an AI system possesses a sufficiently high level of information integration, it may also possess consciousness. The fifth is phenomenology and first-person philosophy, which considers consciousness to be experience itself, incapable of full understanding through external observation. Exemplary figures of this perspective include Husserl and Merleau-Ponty. This approach focuses on describing the structure of consciousness, time, intentionality, and bodily manifestation. This approach does not attempt to explain where consciousness comes from, but rather to reveal what it is. I believe that the emergence of consciousness is by no means inevitable, and its process involves many contingencies. Although the specific principles of its emergence are still unclear, its results are undoubtedly consistent with first principles. This is to enable us, or more precisely, all conscious organisms, non-organisms, and even elements, to generate adaptive feedback to the environment so that they can adapt to the ecosystem they inhabit. A single neural feedback may not necessarily yield the optimal solution. It will be a long process, much like the significance of deep learning in machine learning. Ultimately, the consciousness center will continuously optimize its algorithms, and of course, it is still on the road to optimization.